Let's get right into it. Number 10. The Cannibal Cabin Boy Prophecy. Okay, things are about to get dark and weirdly specific and, well, gross. In 1838, Edgar Allan Poe, king of all things spooky, published his novel The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. In the book, a ship sinks and the survivors are stranded in a lifeboat. They run out of food, draw lots, and end up eating the cabin boy. The cabin boy's name? Richard Parker. A grim but totally fictional story. Fast forward 46 years to 1884. The real-life yacht Mignonette sinks. 4 crew members survive and escape on a lifeboat. They run out of food. The 17-year-old cabin boy falls ill from drinking seawater. The other 3 decide to, well, they killed and ate him. His name, Richard Parker. Poe wasn't just writing horror. He was apparently writing a future instruction manual. This is less life imitates art and more life plagiarized art's darkest, weirdest chapter. Number 9. The dam's grim anniversary building. The Hoover Dam was one of the biggest, most dangerous projects in American history. A lot of people died building that colossal chunk of concrete. But the first and last deaths are, well, they're a little too poetic. The very first official fatality during construction was on December 20th, 1922. A surveyor named J.G. Tierney drowned in the Colorado River while looking for a good spot for the dam. Flash forward exactly 13 years. Construction is wrapping up. The last official death occurs on, you guessed it, December 20th, 1935. The man who fell to his death? Patrick Tierney, J.G. Tierney's son. Talk about a terrible family tradition. It's like some cosmic entity was balancing the books with terrifying precision. Number 8. The universe is lost and found. Imagine this. You're an actor and you need a specific, slightly obscure book for your next big role. You search everywhere, but it's out of print. You're starting to panic. This is what happened to Anthony Hopkins when he was cast in the 1974 movie The Girl from Petrovka. He scours London for a copy, but finds nothing. Dejected, he heads home on the tube, and what does he see? A discarded book sitting on a bench. He picks it up. It's The Girl from Petrovka. What are the odds, right? But wait, it gets better. Years later, during filming, Hopkins meets the author, George Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer mentions that he doesn't even have his own copy anymore. He'd lent his personal annotated copy to a friend who lost it somewhere in London. Hopkins, feeling a weird sense of déjà vu, goes to his trailer and grabs the book he found. He shows it to Pfeiffer, who confirms. It was his personal, long-lost annotated copy. The universe didn't just find Hopkins a book, it delivered the author's own book. Number 7. The nature versus nurture glitch. Alright, this one is going to make you question free will. Meet the Jim twins. Identical twins, Jim Springer and Jim Lewis, were separated at just 4 weeks old, adopted by different families, and grew up with zero contact. When they were finally reunited, 39 years later, the researchers studying them were just baffled. Okay, so they were both named James. Weird, but maybe the adoption agencies had a theme. But then it kept going. Both were 6 feet tall and 180 pounds. Both had dogs, named Toy. Both loved woodworking. Both excelled at math but stunk at spelling. Both married women named Linda, divorced them, and then both married women named Betty. Both had sons they named James Allan. Both worked as part-time sheriffs, smoked the same brand of cigarettes, drove the same model Chevy, suffered from tension headaches, and vacationed at the exact same beach in Florida. This isn't a coincidence. This is a human rerun. It's like their DNA came with a ridiculously detailed instruction manual. Step 1, be named Jim. Step 2, marry Linda. Step 3, realize Linda wasn't the one. Number 6, Mark Twain's cosmic chauffeur. You know Mark Twain as the witty, mustachioed guy who wrote about Tom Sawyer and hated sequels, but he was also apparently a part-time psychic with a flair for dramatic exits. Twain, whose real name was Samuel Clemens, was born on November 30th, 1835. This was just 2 weeks after Halley's Comet made its spectacular appearance in the night sky. He was super aware of this fact his whole life. Later in life, he famously said, "I came in with Halley's Comet. I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't go out with Halley's Comet. Well, the universe decided to grant his wish. The comet returned in 1910 and Mark Twain died of a heart attack on April 21st, the day after the comet made its closest approach to Earth. He basically treated Halley's Comet like his own personal celestial Uber. Yeah, I'll be ready for pickup in about 75 years. Number 5. The Finnish twin tragedy. You've heard stories about twins, right? How they can feel each other's pain or finish each other's sentences. It's cute. This is not cute. This is full-on Final Destination. In 2002, on a highway in Finland, a 70-year-old man was riding his bicycle when he was struck and killed by a truck. A horrible, tragic, but unfortunately not unheard of accident. Here's where your brain starts to melt. Just 2 hours later, less than a mile down the exact same highway, another 70-year-old man was hit and killed by a truck while riding his bicycle. When the police investigated, they discovered the two men were identical twins. They had been out riding separately and had no idea what had just happened to their brother. It's like the universe hit copy-paste on a tragedy. Number 4. The king's unlucky doppelgänger. Ever see someone who looks just like you and think, huh, neat? Well, King Umberto I of Italy found his literal twin, and the universe did not play it cool. One night, the king was dining at a restaurant and noticed the owner looked exactly like him. They get to talking, and the coincidences start piling up. The owner was also named Umberto. He was born in the same city on the exact same day, March 14th, 1844. He had married a woman named Margherita, just like the king, and he had opened his restaurant on the exact day King Umberto was crowned. The king was stoked. This was his new best friend. He invited his double to an event the very next day, but the next morning, the restaurant owner Umberto was mysteriously shot and killed. The king was expressing his sorrow over the news when an anarchist leaped from the crowd and assassinated him. It's like the universe had a Kill Umberto quest and just accidentally targeted the NPC version first before getting the main player. Number 3, the Romanov's unlucky number. Let's get into some spooky, historical numerology. The Romanov dynasty, the guys who ruled Russia with all the giant palaces and Fabergé eggs, really should have avoided the number 17. The entire dynasty's downfall started, obviously, with the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution. That's the big, obvious one, but the final brutal nail in the coffin, the family, Tsar Nicholas II, his wife, and all his kids was executed on July 17, 1918. But it gets weirder. Mystics and historians point to this whole numerical spiderweb. The dynasty began in 1613. 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 3 equals 11. They were taken to their execution down 23 steps. The revolution began on October the 25th, 2 plus 5 equals 7, or November the 7th, depending on the calendar. It's all these combinations of 7, 11, and 17. It's like the entire dynasty had a cosmic delete by date, and the universe just kept sending them reminders. Number 2. The presidential parallel universe. You've probably heard some of the Lincoln-Kennedy stuff, but when you lay it all out, side by side, it's just plain broken. Let's do this rapid fire. Both were elected to Congress exactly 100 years apart, Lincoln in 1846, Kennedy in 1946. Both were elected president exactly 100 years apart, 1860-1960. Both were shot in the head on a Friday while sitting next to their wives. Both were succeeded by Southern Democratic vice presidents named Johnson. Andrew Johnson was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson was born in 1908. Exactly 100 years apart. Their assassins? Both were known by their 3 names. Both names have 15 letters. John Wilkes Booth was born in 1838. Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939. Almost exactly 100 years apart. But here's the kicker. Lincoln was shot in a theater and his assassin Booth fled to a warehouse. Kennedy was shot from a warehouse and his assassin Oswald fled to a theater. History doesn't just rhyme, it apparently hit find and replace with a 100-year time shift. Number 1. The man who wrote the Titanic disaster. And at number 1, we have a coincidence so specific, so detailed, it feels less like a coincidence and more like a time traveler just got lazy and published his notes. In 1898, a fantasy author named Morgan Robertson wrote a novella called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. It was about a fictional British ocean liner, the Titan. It was the largest ship ever built. It was described as unsinkable. On a cold April night, it strikes an iceberg in the North Atlantic. Catastrophe ensues with massive loss of life because there weren't enough lifeboats. Sound familiar? 14 years later, the RMS Titanic, a real British ship, also called Unsinkable, hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic in April, resulting in catastrophic loss of life because it didn't have enough lifeboats. Robertson even got the ship's size, carrying capacity, and triple-screw propellers almost exactly right. When the Titanic sank, the book was reprinted, and everyone's minds were blown. When asked, Robertson just shrugged and said he knew his stuff, which is the 1912 equivalent of, "I'm not psychic, I just read the shipping trends, bro." This is like writing a fan fiction in 1990 about a guy named Barack Obama becoming the first llama president in 2008 and then being 100% right. It's the ultimate "I told you so." So, what do you think? Is history just a lazy scriptwriter? Is the universe playing a weird game of Mad Libs with our lives? Or is it all just chance? Honestly, my brain is too broken to decide. That's all the cosmic weirdness we have time for today. If you feel like your reality just got a little more fragile, do us a favor and hit that like button. And if you want more proof that we're all just living in someone else's weird simulation, go ahead and subscribe, just in case. Catch you on the next one.